Day 124. Dating younger. Is it a problem? So, based off of everything that was talked about in the last week and a half, I decided to make a topic about dating younger overall. Is it a problem? This is not gender specific. Is it a problem? Can it work? That's actually what the title should have been called. And a matter of fact, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it right now. There we go. Let them know I'm live real quick. But yeah, can dating younger work? And by dating younger, I'm not talking about a year or two. We're not talking about we're gonna call it a high school generation. So a 4-year gap. Every generation in this particular subject, when I say it, I'm referring to 4 years and better. You know what I'm saying? Like freshman dating a senior, right? That's gonna be the gap. So if I say 3 or 4, then you just multiply it times 4. That'd be 12 to 16 years. All right. What up, y'all? What up? All right. So can dating younger actually work? Does it depend on, even though it's not gender specific, does it depend on the gender and who's older? That's the first question. Does it depend on, what do y'all think? Do it depend on the gender? I mean, throughout history, it's been a lot of men who date younger, and maybe 2 or 3, two generations younger, so about 8 years. That's happened, and it's last. But what about if it's the woman is 8 years? Will that work? Does it depend on the ages of the people when they start dating? You know what I mean? The gap. So let's say an 8-year gap. Okay, let's say obviously a 8-year gap when the person is 18 versus 26. That could be a big gap. You feel what I'm saying? Well, let's go with, you know what? We're going to make this, because 8 years is not even that. We're going to go 10 years and better, 12 years, 3 generations. Yeah, 12-year gaps and better. Okay. That's how we need to do it. I just do 5 years, or 5 years up or 5 years down. Yeah. So what if it's 8 years? Someone 8 years older than you. Can you see yourself with them? Or if they 8 years younger, does the ages matter? Like, okay, if, like I said, 18 and 28 versus, I said 12 years. So 18 and 30 versus 30 and 42. You feel what I'm saying? Does that matter? Or let's go with 40 and 52. I don't know. I feel like 18 and 30 is going to be too big of a gap. I just don't see it working. One is still technically a teenager. I'm not even gonna go with the they can't drink part, because people always say that, like, you can't drink, as if drinking makes you more mature and an adult, right? Shouldn't be drinking anyways, to be honest with you. I know we do, but they're 18, they're still a teenager. You feel what I'm saying? So being in a full-blown relationship with somebody that's 18, I don't see it working, just because y'all too far apart in life. Man or woman. I don't even really see too many women that will even talk to an 18-year-old, although it happens. It does happen. Let's not, it's the same way these teachers have messed with high school students. You know what I mean? So that does happen. It probably happened more than we actually know, but because it's not really looked at as bad for whatever reason, it is, it is what it is. But the teenagers just they don't know what they want in life. They still trying to figure everything out. Their brain ain't even fully developed, not even close to being fully developed. They're closer to puberty then they are closer to the brain being fully developed still. You feel what I'm saying? So, because the brain fully developed at 25, so that's 7 years. Puberty typically hits around like 12, so that's 6 years. So they're closer to puberty than they are. So I don't see that working. Now, what about 21 and 33? Could that work? Okay, queen. What? I don't know what you're trying to say. But anyways, could that work if it's that age, that big, that gap, 21 to 32, man or woman? I definitely can't see a woman 32 wanting to be with a man 21, because she's just not gonna have enough respect for him. He can't really lead her in any type of way. The only way that's working, and it's probably still not gonna work, but the only way she's probably even entertaining it is if it's like a ball player or entertainer, somebody rich. But I don't see that working. Most women don't like younger men. But what is the there's women out there that do date younger. So what is the age? Why are we talking about puberty? You missed why I mentioned puberty. The reason why I said it was when I was given the age gaps, was given scenarios. I said a 18-year-old, because it was always, you know, I'm going on for 12 years. So like 12 years, 30 to 42 or 40 to 52, 18 to 30. 18 to 30 is just not, it doesn't seem like something that work. Then I said the 18-year-old brain isn't even fully developed. As a matter of fact, they're closer to puberty than they are to their brain being fully developed. You know what I'm saying? So I just can't see that working 18 to 30. But anyways, uh okay, with the age gap, does sexual desire come into play? How often they want it. If you got somebody, if it's 12 years older, one party might just, they just probably don't want to have sex as much anymore. So will that become a problem when you in that relationship with somebody with that big of an age gap? If you're thinking, let's say a 30-year-old woman with a 42-year-old man, you know, will the man be able to keep up? Maybe that's not big enough of a gap. What if it's 15 to 20 years? You know what I mean? Could that work? A 30-year-old woman with a 45 to 50-year-old man? I don't know. I think that could be a big issue if she has just a normal drive and his drive is not that high, because he's not going to be able to perform, as much as she might want. And if it's flipped and it's a 50-year-old woman with a 30-year-old man, I definitely don't see that working. You know what I mean? But maybe it could if he doesn't really have a high sex drive, but she has an extremely high drive. Do you study this stuff, or who is this person? Emma or SMT? What I don't understand what you're trying to say. But anyways, if you know anything about my channel, go watch my other videos before you ask all these questions. Go watch the beginning video. The day one of my live stream is something I'm trying to do every day. You feel what I'm saying? It was something that I decided I wanted to do. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Does attractiveness matter when you're dating someone? If they're looking a lot older, like from a woman's standpoint, will the attractiveness of the man matter as much, or is it just the financial stability and stuff like that, the leadership, the guidance? From a man's standpoint, or the financial? I'm generally asking questions, kid. Yeah, this person over here is trolling. Hold up. Let me see. I'm genuinely asking questions, kid. How old are you, Emma? I'm curious. Since I'm a kid, I would love to know your age. Let's see what Emma has to say. Emma, I want you to answer these questions too. Yo, Emma, since you want to troll and stuff, you can come up here and talk. I could send you an invite. Drop your email, I'll send you an invite. Then you can come up here and talk. You can ask me all the questions you want to ask me. You want to do that? Or are you scared? I'm gonna wait for you to answer. You're taking too long. She don't want to come up here. Drop that email. I'll send you the link right now. All right. You ain't drop the email. If you want to ask all these questions, you could come up here and ask all these questions. We could do it like that. So you ain't gotta keep writing. I ain't gotta keep stopping and reading it. You feel what I'm saying? But anyways, back to what I was saying. All these questions, I was just wondering, like, how would it work? My opinion, I think everything is its own separate thing. So it all depends. If you're dating younger and your sexual desire is not that high, I wouldn't recommend dating younger because they typically are going to have a higher sex drive in most occasions, unless that person just doesn't have a high sex drive. But I don't think that it will work due to that because there's going to be sexual frustration that happens. Also, attractiveness. You also got to think about it. What the person looks like right now, and I know we all know this, but if I meet somebody, I don't know, you're 25 years old, and you meet somebody who's 40, and they happen to look good, they might look good to you now, but 10 to 15 years from now, they might have aged a little bit too much. And I know it's not all about looks, but damn, if you got with another 25-year-old, you get to stay attracted to them physically for a longer period of time. And then you grow so much love for them. It becomes more about other things than just straight up looks. Obviously, looks is not everything, but to lose attraction for somebody fairly quickly can also make you lose sexual desire for that person. You might not, see them as a physically attractive person, and it might turn you off slightly. The love part can still keep you there, it might have you turned on some, but physical attraction is a big thing, but not for everyone. Everyone don't care about physical attraction. For those who do, so you got to know your partner. You got to understand when you are going into a situation where you're dating younger, or you are dating older. Y'all need to have a lot of conversations. Y'all need to talk. It doesn't need to just be about right now. And I feel like that with all relationships, period, no matter the age, even if they are close in age. But when it comes to the older and younger, of maybe 10 years plus, y'all definitely need to have more conversation about your sex drive. How often are you wanting it, things like that, because if that is not put out there early, you could set yourself up for failure. Because in the beginning, even that older dude, right, he might be excited, that he's sleeping with that younger, finer chick, but he might not be able to keep that shit up. 2-3 months, he like, yeah, but after that, he start getting tired. You know what I mean? So you got to think about that, fellas. You know what I mean? Before you just decide to go get someone younger. And with the older woman, you got to think the same way. That dude might want to. Now, the only difference is that women hit their sexual peak later. So their sexual desire increases a little bit as they get older. Now, being tired and stuff like that from life and kids, that's one thing. But as far as their sexual cravings, it happens typically later, 30 to 40 years old. So a man getting an older woman, it could work as long as she's keeping herself, fit, and she doesn't have a lot on her plate as far as just super stressed out or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think y'all can have a great sex life. But a lot of these dudes get with these younger women and they can't keep up with her. You know what I'm saying? So, fellas, even if you go younger, you might want to curve how young you go. Unless you just got a high drive and you need somebody who's younger because she needs to be able to keep up with you. You know what I mean? Um, but what do y'all think? Do y'all think that it can work, or is like, nah, once you go below, as Banky said, once you go 5 years down or up, after that it's a wrap. You know, I'm not sure. I think it could work. I've dated people. Um, I was in a relationship with somebody 6 years. That's not too far out. Um, it didn't work, but it wasn't due to any of that other stuff. But I don't really know because time couldn't tell. I couldn't tell you, 10 years from now what I'm gonna look like. If she's still gonna be attracted to me, if I'm still gonna be attracted to her. I don't, who knows, right? So it's just conversation that I just think about, I like to talk about, get it off my chest, see what other people think. Because you never know who you're gonna come across. Or maybe sometimes when you do meet someone younger or older, maybe it's just a trade-off for a short period of time. Maybe that person, if you, let's say you going younger, that person is keeping you feeling young for a little while, and you putting them on the game, you teaching them things. If you go older, maybe you keeping that person young, and they elevating your life. Who knows? All I know is one thing: if you do deal with somebody with a significant age gap, just live in the moment. Don't really try to focus on the future too much, because more than likely it's probably not gonna work. To the next video, Emma. Next time you come up here, yo, if you want to come up here and be a guest, feel free. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you watching the video though, but you can come up here and be a guest. You don't gotta be nervous. Just follow me on Instagram. Let me know if you want to, and then I'll have you up here. You know what I mean? And you still didn't tell me your age. You just put 300. You know what I mean? What's your age? Since I'm a kid, I would love to know your age. I'll give you about 2 minutes to respond, a minute to respond. No response. Figures. Peace.